Okay, so today's reading lesson, we're talking about how you can have a problem in a nonfiction story the same as you would in a fiction one. The only difference is that in this story, the problem is real. It really happened at a real place with real people. In a fiction story, it's a made-up problem with made-up characters. So, we want to be able to recognize how to figure out the problem in a story, because then whenever we find the solution, it makes the story more interesting. So when we were reading through A Hardworking Cat, we know that Tama is our main character because she's the real cat that's the station master at Kishi Station. But what was the problem? Why did the cat become station master? Well, it says a station master is a person who keeps a train station running smoothly. Okay, that's good to know. Now I know what a station master is. But what was the problem that was faced at the Kishi station? Let's see. As I read through here, it tells me about Tama. It tells me that she was being fed by a grocery store owner. But then right here in paragraph 3, it starts talking about how the train company that ran Kishi Station was losing money. And for a company, that is never a good idea. So the company was losing money. Not enough people were riding the trains. By April 2006, the company could no longer afford to pay the people who worked at the station. Oh man, that's a big problem. Let's underline that because that's important. This is all bad. This is all bad stuff. But this story ends well. So now that we know the problem, it makes more sense that Tama becomes their mascot / station master. Tama saved the station because she was friendly and liked to cuddle and purr, and people wanted to come and see this station master cat. But all of that happened because of the problem in the story. The problem was the train station, the company that owned it couldn't afford to pay their people. So that's where Tama stepped in. So identifying the problem in this story makes the fact that Tama became Kishi station master all the more enjoyable to the reader. She saved a big train station even though she's just a cat. So pointing out the problem is important. Sometimes whenever we are working like on testing questions, you'll see questions like this one. Why did the train company decide to operate the station without workers? This is asking you about the problem. This is asking you to figure out, why didn't they pay people? Why didn't they have people? Why was it a cat? Well, we know that because we found our evidence right here. It was the main problem in the story. The company could no longer afford to pay the people who worked at the station. So when I'm reading through a test question, I'm going to know that, hey, why did they decide to operate the station without workers? There was no money. And I can write that next to my question. I already know the answer. Now I can look through my choices and find the one that matches what I'm thinking. So let's look at A. The train company was unable to find a person who wanted the job of station master. Well, no, that's not right. They had people, they just couldn't pay them. How about B? The people who came to the train station were there only to see the station master cat. Well, no, that happened after they had to fire everybody, so that's not it. How about C? The train station was located in an area where people did not want to work. Well, that's not true either. The company just didn't have money. So let's look at D. The train company was not earning enough money to help pay people. That's right, there was no money. So that would be my answer to this question. So when you're looking at a question that's asking you about problem, read the question and answer it using your text evidence, and then look for the one that matches what you found. That's the easiest way to make sure that you get things correct. Okay, the other thing that we are looking at today is main idea. So when we're looking at main idea, either of a whole selection or of a paragraph, we're trying to figure out why the author wrote it or what it's mostly about. I'm going to show you how I figure out main idea of a whole selection. And then today you're going to be figuring out the main idea of just a paragraph. So when I look at main idea in nonfiction, the title is where I start. The title tells me what my paper is going to be about. So this whole text is talking about a hardworking cat. So this is about Tama, the station master. And how she saved the train station from closing. That's what this whole article is about. It talks about how the company didn't have money, but everybody liked this cat that was staying there, and that people started coming just to see the cat. So this is about Tama, the station master, saving the train station. And that's what this article is all about. Now, if I was going to look at just one paragraph, we'll go ahead and look at this one because we've already worked with it today. I could read just the paragraph and then figure out what it's talking about. Most of the time, the first sentence or the last sentence are going to give you your main idea. It's going to tell you what that paragraph is mostly about. So let's read it and see if that's true. It says, in the early 2000s, the train company that ran Kishi Station was losing money. Not enough people were riding the trains. By April 2006, the company could no longer afford to pay the people who worked at the station. With no employees to help them, passengers now had to manage their own travel. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, that first sentence is my main idea. It says, in the early 2000s, the train company at Kishi Station was losing money. The train station was losing money. This is my main idea. And I know that because then it goes on to tell me why they were losing money. Not enough people were losing trains, could no longer afford to pay people, no employees left to help passengers. These are all supporting details that support this sentence. So when you're looking at main idea today in your sticky idea passage, think about what does the first sentence of each paragraph say? And how does that support the main idea? How does the rest of the sentences support the main idea? So make sure you're using text evidence to answer the question, and make sure that you're thinking about the problem and then the main idea of a specific paragraph. I like to use this symbol icon that we use in fiction for problem because we know what that means. So this is, I'm going to write it underneath. This is actually the problem. Sorry, I forgot to say that earlier. All right, guys, as you work through today, make sure you are showing text evidence. Make sure you are using your race strategy to answer questions, especially whenever it says the word race next to it. That's how you know that I really want you to use that strategy. So this was identifying the problem and finding main idea.